Hello there, Internet. Welcome to the International Writers Fellowship on the 3rd of June.
It's
3rd
June.
of June.
It's June.
It's June. We did it,
6
y'all.
months. It's gone. This year is going fast.
Good
So
God, I feel old. My name is Daniel Hand. I'm the RPG therapist, joined as usual by Ember of Robots and Magic and Erica of RPG Play Therapy. And I'm sure you noticed that the fourth member of this little ensemble is neither Gary nor Jen. We are joined this week by Nina Idnani. I hope I've got that right.
Yeah.
I can speak.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Excited to get into another online community, and
Well, you're part of it now.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's always been a lifelong dream to be a writer, and so it's coming to fruition.
Yeah, well, as both Amber and Erica will tell you, they came on for one episode 7-8 months later. They are the most
They're co-hosts now.
they are. So welcome, you're here now. I hope you're comfortable.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll, before we get too deep into conversation, we'll have a look at the cards. But
yeah.
so Anila, you're writing a memoir, I understand, and you've also got some rather exciting work in the mental health community to talk about, I believe. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, or shall we save that for after cards? Tell us a little bit about yourself now, and we'll get into the...
Okay, sounds good. Cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to do 3 things at once here, and I can barely do one thing at a time, so...
All
So yeah,
good.
tell us a little bit about you whilst I get myself in the zone.
Sounds good. I'm in the zone. I am Anila. I actually have a mental health condition, so I'm seeing therapy in both of your at names. So I'm sure that you're well aware of something called trichotillomania, which is the compulsion to pull out hair.
Mhm.
And it's something that I grew up with. I'm in my 40s now, but I grew up with starting in my tweens. And it was something that I hid back in the 90s because I didn't know what it was. And I thought I was alone and weird. And that's pretty much how everyone feels about these conditions. Hair pulling, skin picking, and nail biting are also sister conditions. And the umbrella mental health condition is called body-focused repetitive behaviors. And so, but I didn't know all that when I was 12 years old.
10 times fast.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't even think the doctors knew that it even existed when I was 12 years old. So I hid it for pretty much 20, 30 plus years. And then a couple years ago, when I was pregnant with my first child, my husband caught me without eyebrows. So what was happening then was I was very stressed with work. And I think the hormonal change of being pregnant also contributed to excessive pulling that I couldn't really control with the strategies that I had back then. And it really came to understand that it was a self-soothing mechanism for stress, for anxiety, for boredom, for focusing, concentrating, writing. I've noticed an uptick in my pulling now as I'm trying to write some really hard chapters of my life. And so after my husband caught me without eyebrows, we started actually understanding what these conditions are and came up with a device, a bracelet that uses gesture detection to bring awareness to the condition. So now when I play with my eyebrows, it sends that vibration that then alerts me and brings me into awareness because it's a very trance-like behavior. There's no control. It's rooted in that subconscious fight or flight brain. But that vibration helps me shift the conversation in my head from, oh, I got to just get that one pokey hair to, oh, my hands are not where I want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need right now? What's happening? Oh, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still writing and this is really hard. Okay, let me go to sleep. Choose the right strategy for the moment to start taking control. And so we built it in 2016 to 2017, and we've been helping tens of thousands of people around the world for the last 7 years, shipping the product to 80 plus countries. And during the COVID time, realized that it wasn't just about that real-time awareness, but this ongoing support system that needs to be built for people with these conditions, just like anyone with any mental health condition. It's not like, oh, you're done. It's this ongoing support of keep doing what's working to keep the issues at bay. And so now we have an online community and some masterclass e-courses that allow people to really make that behavior change stick.
I mean, I saw that and went just as you're demonstrating it, and I felt my mouth drop open.
It's pretty exciting when the tech works, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's right. And
it just brings you back in the room, doesn't it?
Yep. You know? Yeah, to the present moment, which I think the more that we talk to psychologists, therapists in all different expertises of different conditions, it all comes back to the brain is not in the present moment. With OCD, with ADHD, with depression, anxiety, like it's all comes back to where our mind is somewhere else, and teaching ourselves how to get back to that focus and that present moment is kind of, it's a mindfulness tool. Like I remember once a long time ago, I was invited on a panel for mindfulness, and I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm with like, a yoga instructor and
John Kabat-Zinn and
yeah, like a few other right, exactly, right. And I was like, and as I was talking, I was like, oh, this is a mindfulness tool. This is exactly what it's trying to do, is to bring you back to that present moment so that you can really assess what's happening and lead with intention, lead with love, is what we say, because it's all about soothing mechanisms and taking care of yourself.
And obviously the reason you're here, not as amazing as I'm sure both Erica and I are finding this, but and Charlene, who's in the chat, but you're here because you're writing a memoir.
That's right. Yeah. So through this process of helping others and understanding what these conditions are and realizing my own journey, in 2019, I decided I want to write my memoir. 2018, I did a TEDx talk in Fargo in front of 2,000 people, and that video has now been seen about 300,000 times, which for a niche issue is pretty good and has been really helpful in raising awareness. And I think from that, the natural kind of progression was sort of write a book, you do a TEDx talk, then you write a book. And
sorry, I think there was something wrong with my ears. I think I just heard you say that you did a talk in front of 2,000 people.
I love how you say that. I'm looking at my technology to make sure my mic is still in. I'm like, oh no, did the volume cut out?
2,000 people, my word.
It was an incredible experience, and it was really daunting because the lights are all on you and you can barely see out into that was the first time I was ever on a stage like that. So I didn't know what to expect, and it's just like darkness, even though you know that there's people there, but you can't see them at all because you're blinded by the lights. And
I personally always found that comforting when I was on stage in high school. I was like, I can't see them. Not here.
Well, it's like here, isn't it? At the end of the day, we've got people out there watching. We've got at least 2 people watching, and yeah.
But yeah, so from that, it was just this sort of, I don't know, that 2018 year, I call it serendipity as a strategy. Just lots of doors opened to build this company, to serve this BFRB community. And I just felt like the more we put ourselves out there, the more good and the more opportunity was coming to us to like get on an opportunity like being on a TEDx that's now been seen so many thousand times. And you go into the comments and it's just amazing how people finally feel seen and spoken for. And, just that would have never happened if not for the serendipity that also exists around what we're building, the universal magic, if you will. And then, so 2019, I wanted to start writing my book and joined a writing group and then joined an online writing group. And then COVID hit and it got crazy and it got really hard. But I wrote as much as I could. And it's kind of funny because now I joke that I couldn't write the book back then because in writing, oftentimes you need three things. You know, you need like three examples to prove your point sometimes in writing and that kind of thing. And I, looking back, I was like, I realize now that the timing worked the way it was supposed to. So the book was not supposed to come out in 2019 when I said I wanted to do it, right? It's not 2014. So it's been years of attempting to write this. But between 2019 and 2024 was COVID. And then I had a diagnosis with breast cancer. And that was my third thing. So I had lost my dad to cancer when I was in high school, which kind of kickstarted and ignited the hair pulling, which was my second thing. And then my breast cancer was my third thing. So now I kind of feel like my story sort of wraps in a bow of despair to finally understanding how to meet life's challenges. So when I met my breast cancer, it was not with the fight that I was meeting those other two conditions with, those other two challenges with. And then again, serendipity is a strategy. I still was planning to just write this thing on my own. And my colleague went to a mental health conference, sat down for lunch. A few minutes later, someone sat down next to her. They got to talking. And this stranger turned out to be an acquisitions editor at New Harbinger Publications, which is a mental health publisher. And so my colleague connected us. I went through the whole book proposal process of submitting a summary of what the book is supposed to be about, a table of contents, sample chapters, going through like the marketing aspect of I had never done this before. She was like, identify 6 books that are similar to yours and why yours doesn't, like identify the gap in the market.
You're giving me flashbacks here.
Yeah, it was so interesting, the process, because I had never done it before. And I'd never read a blog post about how to do it before because I was not expecting that I would need to do this, right? I was just going to self-publish. And I just, it felt like I was in such a state of flow writing everything she said, everything she asked for, like the documentation that she asked for. It never even occurred to me to look up to make sure I was doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
I just like did it. And she came back with some more questions and some other, other additional questions and stuff. And then she put her pitch together and she pitched it to the team and I got a book contract.
Here we are.
Here we are.
You talk about serendipity. I think I met you in 2019 because you happened to pop into the subreddit and you had your name and you were Anila with a number and I was like, wait, that Anila? That same one? And like her TED Talk had been reposted in the comment in the community so many times. Like she's sort of like the Trichotillomania local hero. Like we love her. So it just happened to be that we were able to connect and now we're here. So.
Yeah. And it's been a phenomenal ride. I mean, you know what it's like to be part of this community and to support the community. And it's just, it's so fun to see the change in people as they progress through this journey and the stages of their mindsets and the change that happens, the light bulbs start going off when you talk about these really difficult things in simple ways.
Absolutely.
And
I think we might go a little off the rails as far as like not strictly talking writing today because we have 2 people here who work with children and youth and families, specifically in that region. So it'll be I might let them at you a little bit, Anila.
Do it. Let's go.
But let's do our cards.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. After all that, we went 15 minutes without doing cards.
No. This is par for the course. We are a highly distractible group of human beings.
So
we've got 2 ADHDers at least, and
I
Dan's
don't
on the fence.
have.
And then me. Then there's me, who has never been diagnosed with ADHD, so therefore clearly doesn't have it. Obviously.
Oh yeah, no, Dan, you
Yeah,
don't have
nod,
it.
nod, wink, wink.
You set off my. So I've got the. Sorry. Stay focused, D. Stay focused. Here we go. I've got the Modern Witch Tarot today, which is my favorite because it's so queer and so brown. I want to be Anila when I grow up. Oh, Charlene is so sweet.
Charlene's saying, I want to be Anila when I grow up. There you go, Anila. You've got a fan.
I want you to be you when you grow up. That is the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Is this idea of, like, you know, a lot of the younger part of my life was not listening to who I was and being what everyone else wanted me to be. And it was only in finally recognizing I don't need to do or be the things that are expected of me. I just need to do what's in my heart, that all the doors started opening. So don't be me. Be you.
I can attest that, you know, growing up with trichotillomania makes you not want to be yourself a lot of the time, and there does come a point when you're journeying where you shift and you're like, no, I got this. All right, what do we have in the cards today? Oh.
And then I have to show something that goes along with what Anila just said.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm gonna do the King of Cups, and of course my camera's not gonna focus on it. We stand.
We see it.
We see it. It's a little shiny. It's a little blurry, but that's the King of Cups.
Cool.
Now let's
He's
see
not
if I can.
sexy as my King of Cups.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
Looks non-binary King of Cups. All right, and let's see if I can like easily navigate to the page today, or if I'm gonna have trouble. That's right. That's right. The arcanas are backwards in this one.
Whilst Ember's looking at that, Erica, why don't you show us?
Well, so we had a workshop where we, I on a whim brought my rocks and my daughter's acrylic, or like her marker pens, and I wrote on this rock. It says, I have to read it first and then I'll show it. It says honest in the middle, and then around the outside it says authentic, you, self, work, 100%, and enough.
Aww.
So like same thing. Like I for me, like I had like hid a bunch of parts of myself for a long time, and it just got exhausting. And so I said, screw it, and I'm not doing that anymore. And so
Gonna write it on rocks and so I see people's windows.
Yeah.
No, that second part just me. Okay, fair enough.
All right, I found the page. So I'm gonna hold up the card, clear my throat. The King of Cups, they're calming, and their cup is brimming with love and compassion. They draw strength from treating others with tenderness and kindness, and they're truly in touch with all their emotions. I'm going to have to turn the page. It's going to get funky. They're the kind of person who you feel perfectly at ease with because their presence is sincere and accepting. If this indicates a relationship, you're finally fully able to let down all your walls and feel comfortable and loved by this person. If the king is you, you're doing a beautiful job as a friend and confidant, so be proud. What a wild card to pull for today. It's like so in line with the conversation.
I see no correlation there whatsoever. I can't read anything into that.
Our cards tend to be spooky like that.
They are terrifying. They're listening in.
So there you go.
I've been doing oracle readings, but I don't have my own box. I go to it's this place called Soul Body Finesse here in Minneapolis, and you can do sound baths there, and then they do kirtan, which is actually like a Hindu chanting ceremony. So it's like what I've grown up with, but now I just do it with non-Indian people, which is really fun. But so there they have their crystals, and they have all these different demo oracle card boxes and books and stuff. So usually I'll walk in, I'll pick up a crystal, and I'll pick a oracle box and ask it a question, and it's just like, wow, I don't know, every single time it's been on point. Yeah. And then I found an online oracle card reader, which I've been using a lot, just like when I'm waiting in line to pick up the kids on the for school pickup and stuff. And that's also still been on point. Just been like wowed by how.
That sounds a lot cheaper than the way the rest of us have done that by just going, do you know what? I just need to buy more cards, always the more.
I was going to say you should give Dan the link to that so that he stops buying cards on Kickstarter.
I am trying to find the link so that I can get it to you as soon as I find the link. I don't know why I can't find it right now.
No worries. I can also pop it up in the Discord later.
I backed a really cool deck on Kickstarter, and
Don't tell me.
Oh, it's already done.
Oh, thank God.
I got a coloring book with it, and I am totally gonna make Shrinky Dink minis for a D&D campaign out of the coloring book, and it is gonna be so freaking cool.
I'm so proud of you, Erica.
It's amazing.
So how did that sit with everybody? How does that does that relate to our writing at all, or are we just feeling it as a group? That's just the vibe. Don't all speak up at once.
In terms of writing, that feels kind of be comfortable enough, in your own skin. If you want to write now, just write what makes you happy. If you don't want to write, don't write. If you want to write something that isn't your main project, write something that isn't your main project. Just kind of do you, I think, would be how I would interpret that.
You mean like a story about a cigar smoking dragon?
I mean, like a story about a cigar smoking dragon.
I can't wait until Thursday when I, have to be to the airport at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm totally going to be writing at 3:30 in the morning. Well, after I get through.
Sorry.
Kraken, why are you dying?
Yeah, you're going to have to give us more than that, mate. Sorry.
Yeah,
what?
yeah, we need more information.
There's zero context.
Yeah, I'm just dying over here. Okay. I mean, have you called 911?
Yeah. What?
Kraken's a regular,
literal or.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair play. Fair play.
Okay.
And Charlene says no dying. Yeah, this is a no dying stream. It's strictly forbidden.
That's a lot of liability, and I'm at work, so let's not do.
Yeah, it would look bad for the stream. So just if you're gonna die, can you do it somewhere else?
Just pop a Benadryl and go to sleep, Kraken. It'll be okay.
So, yeah, that's my take on it. Anybody else?
I feel that because I fully yesterday was like, I should sit down and write, and then I thought I don't want to, and I beat myself up about it because that's just like that's part and parcel to Trichotillomania is just being like, ah, and it's nice to feel like held in the it's okay to not write headspace right now because I'm working on so many other things. I'm, like I said before, doing client blogging and other exciting things. So creative writing's just not happening right now. It's okay. I shouldn't make that face. It's just not happening right now.
Well, no, because you make that face because it's not happening right now and you miss it. But
be authentic.
Okay, I miss my imaginary friends. Okay, I like fiction writing. But yeah, okay, I've said enough things.
Erica, how about yourself? Or Neil, whoever wants to go.
I think same thing that you guys have said, but also like I tend to always have a character who is basically the King of Cups that I didn't know was the King of Cups. Because I think.
So what you're saying is you have emotionally fulfilling characters who you like spending time with. My characters are all miserable old bastards who really just hate everybody.
Dan, you're not supposed to put yourself in your writing, remember?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, but so this is what I was gonna say, and I'm trying not to sound like I'm working on a Monday and it's like throwing my whole like juju off, and so I can't find the word, like tooting my own horn, but like I kind of feel like that. that I've worked my ass off to get to that point with my life. And so, like, I do put lots of me into all of my writing, no matter what it is I am writing. And I think that it's in like that specific character.
Oh, so you're the King of Cups.
Yeah, maybe.
Are we all the King of Cups? Perhaps.
Reckon
Yep.
I like that. Without any planning or prep. No, I mean, and
That's
No.
basically life with ADD. You're always going on an adventure with no planning or prep.
Or no matter how much planning and prep, you're never planned and prepped.
No,
You
I'm
know.
just flying by the seat of my pants. Come on
Yeah.
now. That's the fun of it. Yeah, exactly. Life's always exciting. It's never boring.
That's the most fun.
how about
Just
you,
as the
Anila?
person with
Anything
adventure in their name.
out to you from that, Anila?
So the I can't remember everything that you had said, Ember, but the one of the things that stuck out to me was that idea of like service, if I caught it right.
You did.
And I think when Erica was just talking about, being that character or putting that character into stories, it's like, wouldn't we want the character like that in every story, right? Or in every so that to me really resonated, and to me I do see the memoir writing as an active service for the BFRB community. That my hope is that it will transcend the community level to a more mass awareness level, that it's not just about these behaviors, that it's not just for people in this community to pick it up off the shelf and say this is going to help me take control, or this is going to help me see my BFRB in a new way, but anyone will be able to read it and look at their life and their life's challenges in a way that that gives them hope and can kind of see the cheekiness of the universe, and help them just live and lead with more love in their life. So that's kind of, so that when it talks about service in that respect, that's sort of what my hope is, that I, am talking with Oprah one day or something like that, where it's dream, where it's sharing a journey that is unique to me, and yet everyone is going to see themselves in it.
I can relate to that, and I fully believe that you will be speaking with Oprah someday soon. But I think anybody with chronic illness or any stressor in their lives can see themselves in that, and vice versa. So it's interesting to hear you say that. But I'm curious a couple things. Have you done fiction writing, or are you mostly just like blogs and nonfiction? Yeah, you, Anila.
Yeah.
I know about these two.
I know.
These two, wherever they are.
So I took a creative writing class in college, and that was probably my first and only time I did fiction. And it was okay. I didn't really I liked more drawing from my experience and doing poetry. Like all my childhood stuff is all my own personal experience poetry, and it is dark.
Tends to be.
Yeah.
Tends to be.
So yes, and then now it's mostly writing about BFRBs and awareness and the methodologies and helping people and other people's stories of that kind of thing, and then my own memoir. So it's mostly nonfiction and memoir writing.
But you've always been drawn to writing?
Always, yeah. It's I love to write. I've always loved to write. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks.
Same. It feels kind of like a compulsion, to be honest, the need to write, at least to me.
No, well, yeah, and when you don't write, so as you said a few moments ago, it just feels like something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
You
feel empty and alone.
Mm-hmm. But so a big topic of conversation in fiction writing is whether or not you should insert real people into into your story. And there are many well-documented cases of authors having conversations with relatives to go, why did you put me in your book? I didn't. Well, why? Because there's a lot of projection as well.
Right.
But memoir writing, obviously, it's very specifically.
Yeah.
I'm writing about the people in my life and my experiences of life. And how has that been for you?
It is actually the biggest roadblock because I'm sitting here trying to write about my childhood and I can't because I don't want my mom to read it and be like, that's not how your old childhood was. Like, and it's not any, like, I love her. Like, we have a good relationship, you know, and it's just, I see things the way I experience them, my perspective. And so like, that scares me. So it's been hard to write. So now I'm like, I'm not going to write about that right now. I'm going to go write other chapters. But yeah, even like writing about my ex-boyfriend or other, I had to write about another friend of mine whose her life experience kind of dominoed into my life experience. So I had her read the chapter and I said, you know, I need this in the book because it's integral to my story. And she's like, it's totally fine. Yes, you can use my name, but I'll probably change names for other things. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard because there is always that, like, you know, in the same, that projection, right? Of like, well, that's how I saw it. And then someone else can say that's not how it went down, or, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm also plan to take a few liberties with maybe moshing my one main boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, with some of the other exes in my life to just kind of make it easier to not have to explain all these different guys.
So Kraken has got a very good piece of advice there.
Just workshop it, have some fun until you're ready. Yep, exactly.
Well, and
it's the last
spamming fireball.
I don't think Anila can put a random wizard spamming fireball, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I think every
think I
memoir
can.
could do with a random wizard saying fireball. I mean,
that's just very literal, right? So what is the figurative version of wizard spamming fireball in my story, right? And I'm sure that exists.
One thing that might be helpful, okay, and this is me, like, something I've learned from my Adlerian play therapy journey. So Rudolf Dreikurs was an Austrian psychiatrist, and he said, this is not the exact, but you could look it up, that children are amazing observers and horrible interpreters.
Oh.
And so when you're describing your childhood, you're describing it from your child eyes and how you interpreted the situations. Now, they could have been something completely different, but if no one explained to you what was going on, like, this is how you saw things, and you filled in the blanks how you needed to. And like, that is one of the things that I tell the parents that I work with all the time. And, you know, and I tell them is like, if you don't want your kid to interpret things incorrectly, help them understand on age appropriate levels what's going on, because they will make things up and it is 9 times out of 10 going to be worse than what's going on.
Whatever you do, don't say, out of the room, son, I'm fixing mummy's back.
Oh, Dan. Dan. I will say, too, I made a mention on the podcast this morning of some things that my mom had said and done when I was a child that were helpful and non-helpful. And afterwards, I was like, oh, shoot. And, you know, Barbara said, do you want me to take those out? And I said, no, I think, like, in context, it'll make sense. And if my mom hears it and thinks, well, I didn't say that to her. It's like, well, you did. And you said it once and you probably totally forgot it, but it made a huge impact on me. So Erica nodding. We
And so like in Adlerian psychology, we call those early recollections, and they're the things that, you know, start to make up your personality and like the big pieces of you and how you see yourself, the world, and others.
Right.
see, Mom.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's actually also been part of the the challenge of writing too, is that I have processed a lot of the childhood stuff, so now it's like it doesn't feel as bad as it did anymore. And so when I'm writing it, I'm like, this just makes me look like a baby. You know what I mean? Like, which is now undermining what I went through as a child, but because I'm in a better place with it now, if that makes sense, right? So like it was torture when I was a child, and I need to write it as such, but now I'm in a place where it doesn't feel like that anymore. So that disconnect has also been hard to like get back into where I was to write about it.
Do you find too that it kind of like brings all that stuff back up for you and
little
makes
bit.
it fresh? Like,
Yeah,
I
a
can
little bit.
imagine.
Yeah,
Has
like
it been therapeutic to do?
It's also also very therapeutic, but like we were on vacation during spring break with my husband and my two sons, and they went to play tennis in the morning, and I stayed back to write, and I was writing about some annoying stuff like with my ex-boyfriend. And so then I met them at the beach, and I was like, I was not there. I was not present because I was still like hardened from that stuff. And my husband called me out. He's like, you seem really aloof, like really out of it. And I'm like, dude, I just had to go there, and I'm having a hard time coming back out. And, you know, so it definitely affects the present moment too. So I just like took a little walk, and I don't even know what else we did. I think we might have just gotten drinks at the beach, at the poolside bar, and then I was fine.
I mean,
how do you come back out? Like that feels like you got to really get in there and dredge that stuff, and then you got
ice cream time. Yeah.
I mean, Erica and I have given presentations on that exact topic. It's about, you know, using storytelling, getting into that mindset therapeutically.
Like learning to come out of it in a safe way is probably something that I would love tips on if you have it.
Being gentle with yourself is the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to come out, because especially, I mean, I've only known you for 40 minutes.
And you know my entire life story.
But you strike me as the type of individual who quite hard on yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Don't know what gives me that impression.
And you can't therapize her live. It's not fair.
Well, no, I'm simply saying, because no, you asked for, you know, ways of coming out. The way to come out of it more safely is just to be nice to yourself. Go to the bar, give yourself a drink.
Yeah.
A little while, you know, ground yourself in the real world. Much like your bracelet, you know, brings you into the moment. You know,
back to the moment.
Bring yourself into the tennis world. You know, watch them play tennis for a little while before you go and join them.
Yeah, I appreciate that call out, because it's also a common theme in the BF4B community of we're hard on ourselves, we're perfectionists, and may not be everyone, but there's definitely trends towards those characteristics. Ember's pointing this way.
Oh my god.
Like super perfectionistic, or have like set expectations, and yeah, we are deeply hard on ourselves when it doesn't work out. It's our fault, right? We blame instinctively ourselves first, even if it has nothing to do with us. And that was what I was writing about this morning. Yay! A time in my life where it was all my fault.
1000%. And I will say, like, I am not writing a memoir, but I am in trauma therapy, and I feel like after my sessions, I'm just like, you know, after having tried to process all that, and it is just as simple sometimes as, okay, I'm going to take a walk, I'm going to have a popsicle, I'm going to play a video game, I'm going to just let that kind of roll out of my system for a little bit because it was intense. It was reactivating a lot of those old feelings because we're ultimately trying to kick them out the back door, as
Yeah.
good old Fran says. Oh, hey, Caedmon, welcome. We're having a live chat with Anila Idnani, who is writing a memoir.
Nice to meet you.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So we're learning more about memoir writing and the trials and tribulations. And
obviously, Anila, for the actual logistical process of writing a memoir, this is obviously non-fiction publishing, which is slightly different to the fiction publishing world where you write the novel and then submit it around. Here you pitch the idea and then write the novel. How have you found that? How much time have they given you to write the novel, the memoir?
So I think it took me about a month and a half to write the whole book proposal, and I delivered that in June or July. I'm looking at my July. So I got connected with her in May, delivered it in July-ish, early July. And it was a process of just sort of, it was easier to write the book proposal for me because I'm a checklist person and that's what I was given. And I was like, boom, 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 boom. But it was, just that, like the pitch, the book summary. What is this? What is it about? What are you going to leave the reader with at the end, kind of thing? And then it was 2 sample chapters, which I had already written from the 2019, 2020, sort of my COVID writing group stuff. I had a good chunk written. So I kind of gave them my strongest pieces from that as chapters, and then putting the timeline and the table of contents together. And then in July or August, between July and August, I think I had some back and forths. And then she pitched it towards the end of early August, probably. And in late August, while I was on break with my kiddos, summer vacation, I got the email saying it's been approved and now here's your editor and here's your contract, and go set up a call with them. So it was like a little bit different of a switch too, because with this person, the acquisitions editor, we did a phone call, an intro call. We built like this connection, kind of like this strong, like rapport. So I felt like I was writing for her when I was doing the proposal, and then I kind of lost that. So got the book deal, started writing in October, and the goal is to deliver it all by August 2024, which is in 2 months, which is probably not happening, because in December I delivered my first 8 chapters, and it wasn't even good enough to edit. They were like, I felt like I got like a C+. Talk about being hard on myself. I was like, I got a C+ or a D on my first 8 chapters because they basically were like, yeah, let's take a step back. Let's do some narrative arc, work. Let's do some, look at your table of contents again. Let's look at your main characters. They gave me like a worksheet to kind of identify the main characters. They asked me to go back and write like an audience, like who are you? Who are you writing for? Like come up with that archetype. So like all this stuff that I'd never really done as a real writer, right? Because it's not something you know what I mean? Like, right? Like,
no,
like it's just like you just jump in. So I went back and I did a lot of that stuff. And what really came out of it was, like we were talking about characters before, like the only real other character that I feel like I want to develop in this story is the Trichotillomania. Everyone else is just a catalyst for that relationship. And I need to write that down because I didn't know that until just now.
Oh my gosh. I love when that happens on the stream.
You saw it here first, guys.
That is amazing. I as you're writing that down, I'm like, how did you handle that feedback being a writer and a sensitive person who is innately hard on yourself? Like, I feel like I would curl into a ball for 3 weeks and cry. And I'm sure that you did not do that because you're a very busy person.
Yeah, I pretty much was like, stunned and stumped, and I didn't really know what to do. But then I got on a call with them. I got these instructions again. You give me a to-do list, I can get it done. And so I did all those exercises, and it really helped kind of see this, that like I was giving them my whole story, and they were like, what I think they were trying to tell me was just give us the thread that binds, essentially. And so now I can do that a little bit more. Like, I'm still going to give them extra stuff because I need to write some of the extra stuff to get to the meat, right? To get to those threads. But yeah, this idea of like the trick needing to be the other main character, I need to take that with me because I'm not doing such a great job as I'm writing right now.
Is it the other main character, or is it the primary antagonist?
Ooh, say more, because these are words I don't know. Primary antagonist.
Dive down that rabbit hole. Just a quick question: have they given you a word limit?
Yeah, I think it's a word minimum. I guess like 60,000 words. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was about 60,000. But they've also now told me like don't even watch the word count, because I think I was watching the word count. And they were like, just write, just like, because I was editing myself. And so they were just like, just write. We'll edit. We'll worry about the word count later.
That makes sense.
Well,
go ahead.
Give me the name of your publisher. I need to get in touch with them.
Well, no. So, like, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Ember, there is a children's book. Hold on, let me grab it really quick. This has become one of my favorites, and it's a go-to for me. It's called My Monster and Me.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
By Nadia Hussein, who actually won the Great British Bake Off, I think.
Oh, cool.
At some point in time.
Yeah.
Love her.
Love that show.
And so I kind of have to do the like go around to get to a point also.
Okay.
But like
come on, no, that's out of character.
This is a safe place for neurodivergent talking and thinking. So.
Oh no, Charlene, I'm actually in my office. I had to work today, so like I have my stuff here.
I have games and books in arm's reach.
But yeah,
I do too.
I usually do not. But so like with this,
I've seen your office at home.
I mean, yes, but not.
You have a Harley Quinn wall.
Let her get to the point. I want to hear what she has to say.
Okay, so in this book, the monster starts off as this big, huge thing that the kid cannot figure out. And it just keeps getting in the way, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then by the end, the monster is manageable and is fitting in the little boy's pocket.
Right.
Because he changes his relationship with the monster. And so Nadia talks about how like she has always struggled with anxiety, and so the monster is for her representative of anxiety.
Yeah.
So with Trichotillomania for you, and it being like a character in your story, like has it shifted for you?
Yeah. I mean, the language that you just used about getting smaller in your pocket is exactly what we say for people. Is that's the goal? Is that it's a chronic condition. You're not gonna like wash your hands of it, but that big heavy burden, that backpack is gonna be teeny tiny by the time you're done, because exactly that, you're changing your relationship. You're telling yourself a different story about what this thing is in your life.
Yeah. So like the very last page says, but if it ever feels like it's getting out, I'll tell it to behave. My monster is part of me. We've known each other from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That is so sweet. I need that book.
Yeah.
I freaking love this book. And
it's so cute. I love the art.
Yeah.
And it
Nadia was a big celebrity over here because of Bake Off, and that book was absolutely. I've never actually read it, but
it's beautiful. And And what I love about it is the monster can be anything. The monster can be depression. The monster can be anxiety. The monster can be like abuse. It can be
Exactly. And it all kind of it all transcends. Like it's all the same thing. It's all the same. Every challenge is the same.
yeah.
So yeah, like back to the idea of the trichotillomania
Yes.
being an antagonist, like maybe it starts out the antagonist, like the villain of your story, but you realize that it's like really it's just a little part of you that you have to accept and something like that. Like it's interesting that memoir still needs to have like an arc, a story arc. And we go from, so I'm seeing it almost as like the hero's journey, which is like a very, very typical story arc that we follow, right? So it's like how
The
do you get
monomyth,
from
the monomyth counseling.
okay, Dan, I see what you did there. So yeah, it's like how did you start from like little Anila who had this thing that she probably didn't even know what the name of it was, because that's how a lot of us started, especially in the 90s, to being a thought leader and like kind of a big deal celebrity icon in the TTM community, the BFRB community, like and being able to help other people overcome their shame and their anxiety and actually their polling behavior as well because of the bracelet, which I too have.
See, well, and on the bracelet thing,
I feel like I'm missing out here. I want one.
I've actually, so I'm a nail biter. I have
Oh,
been
welcome!
all my life, and I've actually looked at those, but I would need two, and
And Erica
I used to wear two. I'm not
I
wearing
used
two right
to-
now, but I used to
yeah.
wear two.
I
Yeah.
actually need to get back to wearing two. I got to talk to
Yeah.
Anila. I'm like,
Or
I
you
need to
can-
re-up on my keens.
We also just put out an Apple Watch app, so I think that might be what you were wearing. So you could also do that.
mine's a Fitbit.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
But
anyway,
But yeah.
back to I just wanted to.
because there's a big, just if we focus on the writing side of things, there's obviously a big difference between a memoir and an autobiography. Yeah, an autobiography is very much, I mean, it's not just a date and event
Right.
relating exercise, but yeah, whereas a memoir has a storyline. You use the word antagonist. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, there is this force or individual hanging out in the background, looming over the narrative. And
by the end of that journey, you've sort of like come to terms with it or overcome it.
Yeah. That arc and it does it like you're saying, right? Like an autobiography is more factual. Of like this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Whereas I see a memoir as being factual from my perspective, right? Because someone else is going to read it in my life and be like, didn't happen that way. But that's what I saw. And a little bit more like emotion and color of like what I was thinking. Like, so the more of the internal as well as the facts, right? So like the facts, but also the thoughts that may or may not be facts,
right?
In that moment. So to me, that memoir is like someone's in my head. They're in my head and they're right by my side. They can see what I can see. They can feel what I can feel.
Aaron Burns, Hamilton's antagonist. I know Charlene loves Hamilton. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what it is.
You haven't seen Hamilton? Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that another time.
Okay.
But yeah, the memoir is factual to your experience.
Right.
It's sincere to you and to your thoughts and feelings, and not always 100% cut and dry facts, but like authentic.
It's the autobiographical equivalent of narrative nonfiction. Would be how I would describe it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So Dan famously gave himself a very short deadline when he was contracted to write his book. Have you had much say in how much time you have to write this?
So I
don't know if I feel attacked or seen here.
I mean, you have said before, like, oopsie, I did not give myself that much time. People usually give themselves more time, which I feel like I'm holding space for that.
Yeah.
I am kind of like a sorry, it's really noisy in my house. I don't know if you can hear all that.
Yeah,
Joyful
it's
noise.
cute.
It's okay. We all
Yeah.
have little
Kids are
people in our
home.
lives. Yeah,
Kids
it's
are
chill.
home. At least he's giggling and not crying
Right.
until he starts
Stop
crying.
crying, or I'll give you something to cry about.
So in terms of the timeline, I am a master procrastinator. So the more time I have is
Welcome.
actually not going to be good for me.
Me neither.
So really I'm want to actually still stick to the timeline that they've given me, which is not a lot of time to finish writing, but
Sorry, but Booney is also very much into the mental health. So you've got me, you've got Eric, you've got Charlene, you've now got Booney. This is just mental health
yeah, cool.
central here. So yeah, please, Booney, go back and watch, because our guest today, Anila, is just so good. Sorry, carry on, man.
Yeah, no. So in terms of timeline, like I'm gonna try to stick with whatever they originally gave me. I mean, even the first deadline, they wanted it December 1st, and I think right before Thanksgiving, I was like, oh, I haven't started yet. I need to do it on over Thanksgiving weekend. So I asked for like another 2 weeks. I delivered it on December 18th. So like it seemed from communications with them that they're also pretty fluid and get it and just want.
So you wrote the whole book in 2 weeks?
No, eight chapters. The first 8 chapters.
Jesus, I mean, still 8 chapters in 2 weeks is.
I mean, if in fits and spurts, that was like the crunch time. That's sort of like how I work as a procrastinator. Is I get a little bit done, and then at the end, I just go whole into it and put it all together and tie a bow on it.
Yeah,
but up until that time,
and I just don't. I do nothing at the beginning, and then I do nothing at the end. It's and then
you ask for a deadline.
Yeah, exactly. Can I have
for an extension?
Deadline, please?
That's pretty much what I did.
Sometimes I have to beg people for deadlines because as an ADHDer, I'm like, look, you have to give it to me. Otherwise, I will just float off into space and I'll never get it done. Whereas if you give me a deadline, I will do it the night before and it will be amazing. Literally how I wrote all my college papers. It's just furiously in one go.
Totally. There's something about the adrenaline rush and that feeling of like getting it done. I don't know. Like there's probably psychology on all of that.
Oh yeah. It's probably not great, but
dopamine.
Dopamine.
The dopamine hit.
Which is also a trichotillomania thing. Yay. So I want to see more research in the future about ADHD and trichotillomania because I'm seeing a lot of people who've got, or BFRBs in general, have those two things co-occurring.
Same.
And it's interesting because a lot of people on the subreddit have said I started taking like stimulant medication and it made my BFRB worse. So then there's like that. That's not my experience, but more research.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've just spotted the time. We are at the top of the hour, and we could still go on talking. Do we want to carry on talking, or
I have to turn into a pumpkin and go get my child in a little bit?
And my children are home, so I need to turn into a pumpkin right now, unfortunately. But this was really eye-opening for me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate,
on my mind, new insights. Is on Ember's and Erica's is, will you come back?
Yeah, totally.
Because you're amazing. We want to hear more.
I appreciate that.
You're here now, so there's no getting away from us. Sorry.
Oh no, I love talking about writing. It'd be great to see everyone again.
Booney wants to ask
questions.
Yeah, we'd love to hear more as you get further in and just how that's going and developing. And I'm sure you'll have lots of wisdom to share because it's so different writing a memoir and having that whole thing. It's just so exciting. So, and thank you for giving us your time. I know you're such a busy human.
Oh, this was so awesome. I loved the experience, and talking more about writing versus what I'm writing about is like a flip for me, but it was, and it's been really helpful because I'm seeing some gaps in what I have written, and have like kind of a like marching orders a little bit to go back to and strengthen the story, like I think that's again the difference between what we were talking about, the nonfiction versus or autobiography versus memoir is like it's dry versus intrigue and emotion, and I can strengthen it now, right? Like there's a thread that binds that I can, how you tell the story and weave it together is going to be the hard and the most interesting part.
Are your children playing us off?
Yes, they
Like
are.
I love that. I'm just like,
I can't hear it because these headphones are so good.
Well,
But you can.
I'm sitting here and Neela going, do you want to come on my channel? Where we can talk about all this on the RPG Therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm up for anything.
Well, Amber can put you in touch, but more to the point, Anila and Nani, welcome to the International Writers Fellowship. Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it. I feel like a true writer now to be part of this group, and I want to know how to actually get in the group because I don't know much about Twitch. Amber, you help me.
I will absolutely help you. You are a part of the group. I will link you in on all of the things, and we've got you on Instagram. And why don't we tell everybody where y'all can find us?
Indeed. So, Anila, go.
Our
go
outro
for it.
music.
Oh yeah.
I like it. I'm here for it.
I do too.
Yeah. We so you can find Habitaware pretty much on everything except for Discord and Twitch. And I'm at Anila Adnani on Instagram. That's mostly where I hang out the most. And our website, you can find my email pretty easily, or it's just anila@habitaware.com. I'd be happy to stay in touch with anyone that would like to. And hopefully I will figure out Twitch so I can join the community.
Yay.
Thank you. Erica?
You can find me at rpgplaytherapy.com, and we actually have a website now, and there's a training on there if anyone wants to, come and learn about using D&D and play therapy, and we'll have more trainings up as soon as I have brain power to put them together.
Yeah, I hear that.
You're doing amazing, Erica. Keep at it. I am at Robots and Magic wherever you get your internet. That is Twitch. I do stream sometimes. I did not stream today, but join me very soon for more Fallout 4 shenanigans. We are exploring Nuka World with my friend McCready. That's a really niche thing to say. What else am I? Let's see. Robots and Magic wherever you get your internet. If you need any, thank you. It's based on a video game. Where was I going with this? Oh, and I also run Diana Gray Creative Services. Ember is my Twitch name. If you have any need of creative marketing services, et cetera, you can find me there at Diana Gray Creative. And my website just launched, dianagraycreative.com. It's .com. Go me. I did it. I completed tasks. I'm so proud of myself. And over to Dan.
And you can find me at Monomyth Counseling with 2Ls.co.uk. I've just got some new cards which have a QR code on them and everything. So scan that and that'll take you straight to the website. There you go. Or you can find
dice on them.
Of course they have dice on them. I'm an RPG therapist and they're shiny.
Oh,
you even asked me for my professional opinion on the design.
I did. Of course I did. You're the person to ask. Or you can find me at YouTube at the RPG Therapist, which Anila's going to be on there soon, apparently.
There you go.
You can also catch all of us here at the International Writers Fellowship Mondays at 9 p.m. British time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain. Is that right, Erica?
3 p.m. Central.
Central and 1 a.m. No, 1 p.m. 1 a.m.
1 p.m. Pacific.
Or 1 a.m. Pacific. You never know.
Or, California's just upside down. Who knows? All right. Thanks, everybody. This has been lovely.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. It's wonderful to meet you all. Appreciate it.